The wife of our British current Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Boris Johnson, has been accused of what regarding the British monarchy? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. Literally today, we're back at 10 Downing Street and I hope you're keeping well. Thank you as ever for joining me. Now, for those that wonder, as I've often said, what do I get up to during the day? This is what they call really my stomping ground. I'm also a political reporter, interviewer for many channels across the world. And I'm often here, good and bad, and this week's been a very busy week here at 10 Downing Street because we've had what they call a cabinet reshuffle. That's basically where you get called in and then find out if you've got a job. When you do see the former ministers and new ministers walking up this road, this very famous road, you do actually feel sorry for them because they truly have no idea whether they're going to be demoted or promoted. But whichever way, if they don't come back out the front door and go out the back door, then you know, like the Defence Secretary, Dominic Raab, well, you're on the backbenchers for some time to come, although you're never truly through in politics. It's a bit like showbiz. All you need is one big comeback. Now back to your political news story today. Now, one of the big stories breaking out of London today is this rather confusing story which we want to set the record straight about. Now, as you know, or may not know in fact, that Carrie Symonds Johnson is the wife of the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, currently expecting, of course, her second baby. She had a baby, of course, just over a year and a bit ago now, Wilfred, which we saw in all of his splendour at the G7 conference way back in high summer, alongside Her Majesty the Queen down in Cornwall. Now, according to a US magazine who are doing a profile on Miss Symonds Johnson, basically they're doing this sort of, well, shall we say, tearing apart profile, but there is a political sort of sneer behind that, and I'll explain the reasons why. According to the magazine, Carrie said some disparaging remarks about senior members of the firm, the British Royals as they're known. But what is the true story to this particular profile? Well, it's very simple, let me tell you. There's already 2 books in the pipeline all about Carrie Symonds prior to marrying our British Prime Minister. Now, this always happens simply because Carrie keeps herself to herself. She's not pushed herself forward, not been in the public eye, and really has just got on with supporting her husband, Boris Johnson, in these very difficult times. But this particular US profile is really interesting, simply because I do not believe, for one, that Miss Symonds was disparaging at all about the British Royals. She may have said 1 or 2 comments that, you know, could be easily misconstrued the wrong way. She's still a young woman trying to find her feet in the middle of this, well, extraordinary time for her. And let's not forget, of course, she had to nurse back her husband, Boris Johnson, when it was touch and go during that pandemic when he contracted COVID-19. Well, whatever's happened during his duration so far could not have happened or foreseen by anybody once he took power way back 19-20 months ago now. But what's interesting is when you dig a little bit deeper, the person behind this particular profile has an axe to grind. Now, this person, we won't name him, not because we have to say allegedly, but simply because he has been a bane in the life of the Prime Minister ever since he was given his marching orders. You'll see a picture of him here. He's set up all sorts of things, sent out, you know, pictures of WhatsApps that allegedly Mr. Johnson said to him, he sent back, all that sort of stuff. This is now how he earns his money. But there is a connection to that profile and this particular individual. Now, it's very difficult, isn't it? Once one person gets fired from a high-profile job, they really can either take it one way or another. They can go with grace and dignity and keep quiet, or they can remain bitter and want to bring the rest of the people who they think have crossed them down. Sadly for this individual, it appears to be the latter. Now, I met him very briefly, a rather bullish gentleman who seemingly wanted his own way and truly believed that he was running the country and not the Prime Minister. So when you do see that profile hit in the stands, probably around about 2 weeks' time, remember that you heard it here first. It's very much a case of, well, someone wanting their revenge. What better way to attack a loved one who you know could be quite vulnerable, particularly as they're expecting their second child? Neil Sean in the heart of London.